Juventini, it feels like deja vu, all right? You got another frustrating draw, pressure mounting and piling up on coach and players alike. And when it rains, it pours. We got injury news and a difficult match on the horizon with the big question, where does Juve go from here? Hey, we're going to break it all down. Welcome back to the AJC channel dedicated to Juventus. I'm Berto, and of course, today, you can see I've got Omer with me and Justin. Justin with his second show now, second appearance. The first one had some memorable little clips on there, so let's see if we got some more today. We'll see what kind of mood Justin's in. How you doing, brother?
I mean, I was right. We're just going to keep it rolling.
Oh my God. The ego on this guy. All right. Omer, how you doing?
I'm fine. Just fine.
All
Nothing
right.
more.
All right.
No, I'm good. I'm good. By the way, this is my 2000th show. Didn't get one shout out. Justin on his second show.
Well, we lost track, man. We had one season. It was the Berto Skanga and Omer on repeat
Oh,
there.
yeah.
So, yeah, we lost track. You
The
probably
first.
are around 2000.
Yeah. Well, it goes all the way back to the Sarri season, like to 2019. I believe was
Sorry.
my first one.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Man, I've been in
Maurizio
this for a long
Sarri.
time.
Yeah, unbelievable. Look at the Army. The Army's fired up. They're ready to go. Look at all this in the
Yeah.
comments already. Great to see you all in there. Zakaria Ayad, Alex Juve, Adam Khan, Tuna, Cugino, Eddie, sizing up that kit from that bet with Trim already. I can sense it. And then we've got a lot to tackle in this one. We're not going to waste any time. And of course, we got the new format on the post-match shows. We will get into headlines, and then we get straight through the highlights, the repeats, and then we just get right into the aftermath. But for the headlines, there's nothing out there, you guys. The only headline, Juan Cabal appears that it's going to be 45 days that he will be out for. So you're looking at about a month and a half. And by the way things go with J Medical, that could be see you in 2027. So
Yeah.
the
Miretta
Bermuda
says hi.
Triangle may have got their grips on Juan Cabal, but that is the latest that's come out from today. So, hey, when it rains, it pours, right? Let's keep it moving.
Mhm.
Let's get into this match. The starting 11 was as follows. Perin, Kalulu, Gatti, Kelly, Cambiaso, Locatelli, McKennie, Cabal, who of course left early injured, Cope Miners, Yildiz, and Jonathan David. We are going to machine gun through these highlights and talking points and then get to the good stuff that everybody's waiting for. So, 17th minute. Mikatadze on the run turns the Jets on, and he's got Gatti and Cambiaso running, and he has got some serious wheels. They are fast, I'll give him that. Between Pepe and Mikatadze, they're very, very quick up there, and even Tejan Buchanan has got good wheels. But I didn't like the fact that we stepped up so early there. Right at the halfway line, you could see Lloyd Kelly there, and Cambiaso was back there watching Pepe, and Gatti was basically covering on Mikatadze, and they did not do a good job of it, okay? And in the end, they both kind of collide, go into it here, and right here at this moment, Gatti, for whatever reason, even though seeing Mikatadze's right there on his shoulder there, he decides to just stand there as opposed to attack the ball and take that space away so he can't make that pass. This was way too easy. I was so annoyed by this goal. Do you guys want to just quickly touch on this goal before we go to the next highlight? This infuriated me, this goal. I hate the goals that we concede. I got to be honest.
Yeah, that's annoying as hell. That
Yeah.
was a too easy goal. It pretty much summarizes the entire first half in one attack. That was just not to the level of a Champions League match or Champions League team. It just needs to be better. I'll get
Yeah.
to the first half later, but frustrating.
Yeah. The half continues on. We got McKennie that actually comes up with a header after a bad punch from the keeper, and he put it, unfortunately, right back at the keeper, and he parried it away. 42nd minute, you got a fantastic save from Perin at the back post. He actually made several good stops in that first half, they made us look bad. Like, we had such a poor first half for Juventus. You fast forward, we get to the second half. Cope Miners taken off. Thank you, Tudor, at least for that. Chico Conceição comes on, and he comes on like a bat out of hell. This guy was raring to go. It was a big, big positive if you're going to look at positives for Juventus in this game. We get to the 48th minute. Would have never banked on this one, okay? But my goodness. Gatti. So flick on header from Lloyd. And this bike is ridiculous. People everywhere. I have no words still that we saw a Gatti bike. And this is the roller coaster that we're on right now. Center back making a weird decision that leads to an easy first goal. And then he does this at the opposite end, and they just take you full circle. That's the life that we're living right now as Juve fans. Incredible goal for Gatti, though. Got to say that. That's all you could really say with this. Insane. Guys, the bike.
It'd be best moment of his career. Like, that's a photo to frame and put on the wall.
I'm thinking take those boots off, put them on the mantle, and call it a day. Potentially.
Yeah, that was no hats off, man. He gets a lot of flack, but that deserves applause. That was just great.
Champions League, big goal like that, unbelievable. Justin, give him his props. Sick goal.
His props is he's now worth $35 million when we sell him to the Premier League.
Huh. Well, yeah, you know what?
They love that kind of shit.
There's probably not many guys that I'd say are off the market for Juve, if we're being serious. So we'll continue on, though. After this, 55th minute, Chico pounces on a bad pass, runs it back, buries it for 2-1. Things are sitting pretty. 71st minute, though, David puts one off the bar. And to be honest, David had another one. My goodness. This one is crazy. And this was very quickly after Chico entered as well. So when you watch it back, it was Marin who slid that just ever so slightly changed the direction of that ball just enough. And David's on a full run, but I don't give a shit. You've got to find a way. You could stop that ball. You could pop it up and then volley it in from there, whatever. Like, you have to stop the ball and bury it if you can't hit it on the one time because it changes direction. This was inexcusable, no matter what the situation is there. That is one of the worst misses I've ever seen. It blows me away that this didn't end up in the back of the net. Crazy. Yeah, we'll get to David. We'll get to that one, but we missed these chances to kill it. And then you just knew it was going to be Renato Vega. And a header, uncontested. Vlahovic was the only one of 4 players. He attacked the ball, he missed it, went over his head, and then Vega's sitting there. And we had this zone marking scheme that late in the game. Infuriating. And there you go. This one, infuriating. And then the celebration. Guys, I honestly didn't care about the celebration. I really didn't care. I mean, we could have signed him if we wanted to, and he wanted to come back. So, who cares? But did the celebration bother you? Justin, did the celly bother you?
I mean, he went all out. He was kind of pissed. Maybe he's mad that we had a deal behind the scenes, didn't follow through. I don't know. But he certainly didn't seem to think too much before he went into it. So I don't care. I mean, he scored a goal. He celebrated. It was, the 90th minute in the Champions League game.
Yeah. It's an intense moment. I mean, we had the chance to sign him. It is what it is. I really didn't care about that celly, to be honest. Omer, did it bother you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, like Justin said, it's a 90th minute equalizer at home, first goal for Villarreal. And he's not like a club legend that owes us anything. He played here on loan for 6 months. I mean, he can celebrate. I hate when it goes both ways. I don't agree with it. Like, he doesn't owe us anything. He can celebrate at home in front of his fans of the new team. That's
Yeah,
about it.
the only one probably heartbroken about it was Moss because that's his boy. But other than that, I mean, I didn't feel too much about a half a season loan celebrating a goal, a big goal too, that saves them from defeat in the 91st minute. And maybe I was just more pissed off about our own shortcomings to really give a shit about what Renato Vega was doing. And that's kind of where I was at. We're going to end things there. We're going to now get into just some quick hitters on stats and ratings and everything. So the game stats. Oh, man. So you've got 55% possession in favor of Juventus. 3 big chances for us, 4 for Villarreal. They finished with 17 total attempts. Juve with 13. Saves that keepers had to make, 4 saves for Perin, 2 for Tenas there. If you're looking at the player ratings, your player ratings are as follows. Perin with a 6.7, Kalulu with a 6.3, Gatti with an 8, Kelly with a 6.7, Cambiaso 6.3, Locatelli 7.8, McKennie a 7, Cabal obviously leaving injured very, very early in this game. We had to pull in Joao Mario, and Cambiaso slotted over to the left. Cope Miners a 6.3, Yildiz 6.3, David at a 5.2. When you look at the substitutions, Chico Conceição an 8.3, Joao Mario 6.2, Rugani, who came in, 6.3, Adzic 6.4, and Vlahovic 6.5. Gentlemen, it is now your floor to hit us with your thoughts, your overview on this match. You can get into your positives and negatives in this one. And Omar, why don't you kick us off here?
Yeah, why not? So to start off, I think a draw is a fair result. Okay, I don't think Juve were robbed here, and I don't think Villarreal was robbed here. I believe a better team on each side would have won it. Like a better team than Juve would have put the game to bed. We had even enough chances in the first half, and a better team than Villarreal would have punished us in the first half, and that's been game 7 match. So yeah, if you talked to me before the match and told me like we have 3 pillars, Yildiz, Thuram, and Bremer, 2 of them are out, 1 is overplayed, I'd sign on a draw right then and there in that match. It's just the manner that it happened late on.
It's
But
funny
I would have taken.
and it's funny you say that because in my preview thing I did with Julian from Villarreal Fan TV, I literally said, with the situation we're facing, you probably would take a draw right now away from home there. And I was lambasted by fans saying, no, we will not take a draw. And I go, that makes no sense to me. They're in good form. They have an identity. They know who they are. We're still searching for ourselves. But Omar, I felt the same way. So continue on.
Yeah, so the first half was one of the worst I've ever seen in terms of like chemistry, decision making all across the pitch, not only in attack but also in defense. It was just horrible. I mean, we will get to players, but Coop Miners, man, the fact that in this formation, the positions that he plays, either one of the 2-man pivot or up front, one of the 2 attackers, is crucial. And when he has a game like that, then the entire team feels it. Our right flank was completely dead. I would not have started Cabal. I would not have played a guy that just came back from an ACL against Pepe, who is a known dribbler and speedster, and I wouldn't have him chase him all match. And not because of an injury and anything, just because he wouldn't be able to keep up. I would have played Cambiaso there right away. I get that Tudor wants to give these guys minutes and rotations and stuff, but that was a bad call in my opinion. The second half a lot better, and maybe that's a sign of how important that role is. When Chico came in and took over, then suddenly there was a threat. Also, Joao Mario, I thought he was great. Not great, but he was fine. Did his job. So a lot better in the second half. Could have had 2 more goals easily, specifically by David. So yeah, but it ended the way it ended. I don't need to elaborate anymore. I'm actually kind of surprised with the way Juve played in the second half, away at Villarreal. So yeah, that's about it for me, for the team as a whole. A bit of
All right.
late substitutions, but a draw
Now,
is fine for me.
now we'll get to Justin with his. Let's go. Let's hear your overview, your positives, your negatives. Fire away, man.
Overview, I think Omer kind of nailed it. It's pretty fair to say that they earned the draw. No one really played better than the other team. There were miscues on both sides. The defense is obviously a little leaky without Bremer back there. The midfield gets overrun when Coop's in there. And then if you do have Coop up top in that front three, the offense just isn't balanced at all. And it doesn't seem like we really get anything going. Yeah, the same kind of formation Tudor throws out there. He's not being super adaptive yet. Maybe he's still trying to figure out where guys go. And yeah, we made Pepe look like $100 million player because he was just
That we did.
cooking over there.
This is several games now where we really look like we can't break up the transition well enough. Definitely not in the first half yesterday. We were better in the second half, but yeah, there's this balance that just can't be found right now. And we'll talk about where we think the club needs to go and how they need to approach things. But for me, if I'll start with the positives, there's not many, but one is that we do continue to keep fighting. And we do continue to keep chipping away and grinding. Like, there's no give up. There's no quit. I like that. I'll give them that. Okay? If we're going to talk about... There's something going on with audio there, guys. Okay. It's resolved now. That was strange. There's... now keep going here. I don't know what the hell that was. With key guys out, I stand firm with Omer here that it's not the end of the world result, and that showed us that we could still put yourself in a position to win in a Champions League matchup even without a couple pillars, guys that are considered pillars like Thuram and Bremer. That's something that this team should be looking at as a positive, okay? When you look at the last positive for me is that, you're still undefeated. You are still undefeated. It's leaving a lot to be desired in terms of play and everything, but I don't want to get too doom and gloom because as easily as we could go down a spiral, which I feel a lot of the fan base is kind of heading that route with Tudor, etc., and we will get into that, it could just as easily we find the balance and we start moving forward in the right direction. And we'll give our ideas on how we think Juve can achieve that. But like I said yesterday on the preview to this game, it can go either way. So it's not set in stone that we are just going to crash and burn and we are going to be, a nightmare or a disaster season. It could just as easily things click and then we start moving. So these are my positives. The negatives, unfortunately, the same issues creeping up. And again, to find that, to turn that corner, to move forward, it's starting to hit this boiling point where you have to find the balance. You have to figure out what it is. But in transition, we look frantic defensively. And we're not able to break teams up well enough on their transitions. And it looks like we could concede several goals, even when Bremer is back in there. So we have to still figure things out there. We've got 11 goals conceded in 5 matches. That is not a sustainable number to continue on. So again, we're right there. We can figure something out, but action has to happen because a lot of the negatives and issues have been the same. The balance is not there. In the first half, we did not see balance. Second half, it got better. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but Yildiz in the second half actually looked like he was on the pitch because you had a threat on the right side as well, and you make things a little bit more difficult for opponents, and they have to focus on not just one player and hone in on him because Yildiz had nowhere to go in the first half. Double teamed, triple teamed, and nobody else was pulling any weight, and the right side was disgusting to watch through that first half. Enter Chico, big difference. I think Tudor should have learned this by now, and we'll talk about where we go from there. But those are my positives and negatives. I want to get your tops and flops in this game for players before we get into the aftermath, all right? So your highest rated and then your flops. Omer, let's go. And your man of the match, of course.
So Locatelli was man of the match for me, and top just kept it throughout. Shout out to Chico and Perrin. I thought Perrin, I didn't realize he was out for so long, and first game back, he was actually pretty damn good. So good to have him back. Flops, obvious one is Coop Miners. I mean, I can't stress enough how bad that was. That looked like a shell of the player that played for Atalanta. He got everything wrong. The problem with that position is that when they're playing like the half winger, half central attacking midfielder, is that they have both options, Coop and Yildiz, and Chico and Yildiz. But when Coop's there, is only staying in the center, is contributing nothing on the wings, so it's very one-dimensional. That's why he can't play as one of those two, and it was sorely felt in the first half. And Cambiasso, man, Cambiasso needs to pick it up. Still, I mean, he's not that kid anymore. He has a role with this team. He has a big role. He's one of the first names on the team sheet, and so far this season, there's not a lot to show for it. A lot of stupid mistakes at the back, trying smirky pass instead of just kicking it upfield or going for the more simpler, more logic pass. He really needs to pick it up.
Yeah, 100% agree. Justin, tops and flops. So Locatelli is Omer's man of the match.
Not here. I got to give it to Little Cheeks. Chico changed the game once. What?
Little Cheeks? That's not his nickname. Come on. Little Cheeks.
All right.
Where are we
Chico.
going with this?
Let's give it to Chico. He came in. Offense was drastically better in the second half. He actually should have had another assist, except for David forgot how to use his feet on that play. So he would have had a goal and an assist. And he won the throw-in on the side that led to the bicycle from Gatti. So Chico, I think, should have been higher. He should have gotten man of the match, even if he was on the field for, half a game. Flops are Cambiasso stinks, man. I don't even want to call it a flop. This is just his regular game now. Cabal had a shocker. If he would have played the whole game, we would have lost 7-0. He was way out of sorts. He did nothing in that 15 minutes. We're probably lucky he got hurt. I mean, unfortunately he got hurt, but man, if he would have been on there much longer, that was bad. And between him and Cambiasso, there was just wet napkins over there for defense. It was bad. Real bad. And
yeah, I've got, I think, a longer list when it comes to flops, but we'll get into that, and then we will of course get into the storylines through this. For the tops, I've got Chico in there, being up there, but the most underappreciated player on this fucking team is Manuel Locatelli, and he is my man of the match upon the rewatch and the replay. I had Chico just for the impact and everything, and I think I was feeling the emotions of him coming in that second half and how he played. But to be honest, Locatelli was just steady throughout, and he broke up everything for Villarreal, and he put guys in the first half in position to do some damage offensively. And Cope Miners kept tripping on his own dick there, and it was pathetic to watch. Locatelli was a beast, okay? Loca and Chico the highest. And the Locatelli hate needs to absolutely stop. And Tudor, you need to realize this is your team captain. And I can't stress enough, if you watch a Juventus game without Locatelli there, and then you watch one with him in there, it is clear. It is more clear than anything on God's green earth right now that he is an instant reference point for this team, and your middle is dead without it. Realize that, please, moving forward. Now, flops. It was interesting to hear Omer say that Joao Mario and he liked his performance because I actually had him as one of the flops. I didn't think he did well at all. I don't think he had enough influence offensively to deal with the defensive kind of issues that you put up with. And that'll get into another player as well. Joao Mario, also some questionable lack of urgency in certain situations. In situations that it's tough because that corner too, he kind of lost possession there, and I felt that that should have been a foul on him, but he wasn't getting calls. He kind of lobbied for a couple. I have him as one of my flops in this game. I also have Cabal before leaving, definite flop. He was looking nowhere near what we needed for that game. Cambiaso, flop. David, flop. Cope Miners, flop. Those are all my flops in that game. That's a lot of players. If you're going to tell me, this goes back to the one point that Omer made, that I made yesterday as well, without pillars like Thuram and Bremer. If you're going to tell me that after the game, we are going to list 5 players as flops, I'm going to tell you we're losing this game away from home to Villarreal. But we did not, and we should have actually won it. And that's why it's infuriating. Yes, I said probably take the point if that's what it comes to, but it's absolutely infuriating the manner to which we coughed up the victory and those extra 2 points, which would have been massive with now Madrid on deck. But we'll talk about all of this. Now we get into this players, because not just the players, but Tudor. Tudor is under heavy fire. It's a full-on assault from the fans. I gotta say, and I gotta ask, not all the fans, majority of fans, should Tudor be under fire? Is he in the hot seat? Justin.
I'm like on a seesaw on this. Part of me says no because it's only 6 games in, or 7 or whatever it is. It's not that many games. That's the point. Part of me says yes because unfortunately it reminds me of a mix of Max 2.0 and last season. He's refusing to switch formation. We roll out this same thing. He refuses to keep Coop off the pitch, which, I mean, if you put him in the pivot, he's at least a little useful. But if you put him up top, we just stink. Like, you can't put him there anymore. It's better than when he was out wide in the Club World Cup, because that was just a disaster. But he keeps rolling out the same thing, and we expect it to go poorly, and then it does. So if we all see that, I would think the professional coaching and the staff and probably half the players realize that, hey, this isn't working. Something's got to change. So hopefully something changes soon. I can't say I actually see it coming because I'm pretty sure we all believe that Tudor is a little stubborn and probably loyal to some of the players. But he can't just keep rolling Coop out there like this. And we got to find something. Something has to change, whether it be the formation or what players play in the formation. But we can't just keep rolling this out there.
Yeah. And Omer, what do you think? Should Tudor be on the hot seat?
I mean, as a Juve manager, you're always on the hot seat. You never should feel quite safe and relaxed. Like Justin mentioned, it's 7 games in. We gave Mota the same benefit of the doubt, and let's wait till November, December to judge him more. I'll say the same. I do think there is a change in the way Juve play, because we used to have those matches of like 80 minutes before we see the first shot on goal or whatever, and it's not like that. I mean, Juve are getting chances. A lot of the mistakes were just dumb player decisions, taking their time with passes and stuff, and that's not on Tudor. Like, if Coop Miners can't make a 5-meter pass, yeah, it's his fault that he played him, but it wasn't only Coop Miners. And then I had a post at halftime. Tudor should really take Coop Miners out and start rolling some heads. And it seems like he did. Juve came out completely different, took Coop Miners out. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. And 10 minutes in and we're already leading. So he does know how to change, like, let's say the mentality of the team even mid-game. Having said that, yeah, he's kind of a bit stubborn with some players in some positions that is not going to work. And I I don't know. It shouldn't be under fire.
Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
felt like this match was a lot more player based than manager based. We did get the chances, we just didn't put them in.
I'm leaning towards my answer on should Tudor be on the hot seat? No, for me. It's a no for me. That's not absolving him of his shortcomings and the things he needs to correct, because this is right now, it's a collective of shortcomings. It's not solely coming from the coach. That said, he's got things he needs to realize and he needs to start locking in on. So I understand experimenting with things early in the season. I understand trying to get some answers. I'm cool with that. But there are certain things that the answers are already there and have been there that he seems to want to combat, that he seems to want to fight. And for that, the frustrations are going to kick on. And Coal Miners is a prime example. I've said it for a while now. This guy is down the pecking order, down the depth chart, and he's got to work back to getting these. These starts rewarded for what? What are they being rewarded for? If somebody tells me distance tracked one more time, I'm going to slap somebody. It's garbage. I don't care about distance tracked. Distance tracked because you're fading in and out of games, like just drifting around the pitch in positions that do nothing for us. I don't give a shit about that stat. It's not a surprise Locatelli steps in. You've got a damn reference point. So lock in on that, Tudor. 3 mids? Lock in on that. You need 3 mids on this team. But you can't sacrifice that extra attacker to do it. And that's a shortcoming that we have seen now on multiple occasions. The last time he went 3-5-1-1, we suffered by not having that extra attacker. Yesterday, in the first half, we suffered by not having that extra attacker and that balance. It also starts to rule out your best player, Keenan Yildiz, because it's easier for teams to clamp down on him, especially when you have other players putting up stinkers. So Tudor's got to lock in here. And the only way you're going to do that, 3-man middle, without sacrificing the forwards, is what? Back 4. It's time to probably lock in, but more on that in a bit. The other reason I don't think he should be, so those are his shortcomings, why I can understand him facing the heat, but ultimately, for me, the bigger problem at Juve, one of the biggest problems at Juve, and this isn't new to us, and he's now one of multiple coaches that is facing it, is the fact that the players this team need to bank on are not pulling their weight. Period. The guys that need to be the guys for this team aren't cutting it. Okay? And you could go down a list. Cambiaso. The guy is a liability at this point. I'm going to just go out and say it. He is a liability at this point. Because if you're going to play a guy that suffers defensively, you will deal with that. You will deal with that if the payoff is that offensive prowess. Right now, he impacts the offense so little. Yesterday, I watched him time and time again get the ball and look as though he had no ideas whatsoever, and he just stopped, stalled, and went backwards. He had no ideas. Fresh out of ideas. We might have to call him the Iceman because his brain is frozen. It's unbelievable. But he's a liability to continue with at this point. Tudor might have to say, like, look, dude, that's well below the standards. Even if we're skinny at that position, I'd argue you might have to sit him to set a tone.
Yeah, the problems are the alternatives, because Cabal is now out injured for, I'm going to say, at least 2 months. And the other option is Kostic. And so you can do a whole lot with that, but Cambiaso needs to be, I don't know, straightened out.
Weston McKennie.
Weston McKennie is a good option.
Weston
He's
McKennie,
been
I would
fine.
play.
Yeah, I think Cambiaso and like his free roaming role is kind of exaggerated right now. He pops up everywhere and not in a good sense, and is missed in defense a lot. I mean, credit to Lloyd Kelly, man. I think he actually had a good game covering up for those guys. For both Caballo was awful, and then Cambiaso who offered nothing in defense. Uh, I don't know, to use Allegri's term, what he said about Chiesa, that it seems like when he's running to attack, he's running downhill, but back to defense, he's running uphill. He's just not there. I think he'll be better as a left back than a wing back. I don't think he just can't do what he's expected to do. But again, no options off the bench. Yildiz is suffering from it as well. The guy can't be benched because Chico is injured every other game. Zagrova isn't quite ready yet for a full match, which I actually expected to see him. But eventually we see it on the pitch. It takes
He
a
is
toll.
ready now, according to the latest reports, and that offers you rest. But I still think we should have pulled Yildiz at like the 60-minute mark yesterday, 65th minute,
Yeah,
just to get him some extra
absolutely.
rest. And if we're being honest about rest, I said it yesterday on the preview show, you got to start looking at rest in the actual training days, in the games, in the days between matches to really recover. Yildiz doesn't need practice. He doesn't need every single training session. Let's be serious here. Allen Iverson, practice? Practice? We talk about practice? Justin, Cambiaso, I know you're waiting for this one, so fire away, man.
Finally, everyone agrees with me. Everyone. I've been saying it since February of last year. He stinks on defense, and if he's not contributing offensively, he's just a stick with arms and legs. He doesn't do anything. I think he had one decent pass yesterday that Chico couldn't control.
Yeah,
And
that long one.
Other
switch
than
field.
yeah, across field. Other than that, he was terrible. And everyone's like, no, he's world class. And then it also kind of brings up, like you're saying, oh, go back four. And everyone's like, Cambiaso can play fullback. No. I don't want him anywhere near playing fullback because that's even more defensive than wingback. It's just like that side would just get crushed. You'd put when we play Milan, Pulisic would just destroy him. So, like, don't even put him out there for that.
He, like, right now, it's on his day. When he's on his day, he is incredible. But he only is on his day. I don't even know when the last time he was on his day was. I'll be quite honest. There's been some good performances in the past several months, but I can only think of like probably two. That's just not good enough when you're talking about an entire second half of a season. He was so poor down this last second half of the season. Ever since that rumor, ever since his agent comes out and starts talking mad shit to the media about go ask Juve why that deal didn't go through. Well, guess what, man? Who looks like the asshole now? You do. His agent. Because you were talking smack and this guy's put stinker after stinker after stinker up. It's crazy. As a fullback, again, on his day, he could do it. It was no different than Joao Cancelo when everybody was bitching about his defensive work. And I go, I don't care if he's setting up guys in the attack and we can get offensive prowess from him. It's the same thing with Cambiaso. I'll deal with him at left back if he finds that part of his game where he can impact us. At the start of the season last year, when he was on fire and he was consistent for that first half, he was responsible or involved in something close to 80% of our offensive sequences that led in shot attempts or goals. That's actually insane. And that's the part that you need. And that's the part that Kenan Yildiz needs as well. Like, you need this guy to bring that. If he's not bringing that, he does become this liability. And it's a shame because, man, when he's on, he's fantastic. Cope Miners. Oh. I saw Lou put this out on the AJC feed and he just goes, is it time to throw in the towel? Like, is it time to throw in the towel? Do you look to move this guy at season's end and bite the bullet, take your loss? I don't think Juve is going to take a loss. We're in big trouble with Cope Miners. We're in big trouble with this guy. Because I think even if they wanted to, his value is just shot if he keeps doing this on the pitch. But would you throw in the towel? Would you look to even take a loss to just say, that's it? Is it too early?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's too early now. I have no idea what happened to the guy. Unfortunately, we have to use him. We kind of have to, just because of... I mean, if Miretti is healthy and Jagrova is healthy and Conceição, then he doesn't play where he played yesterday. So he gets a lot of benefit because of injuries and the team is not being anything right now. But yeah, I kind of given up. He should officially move to the bench, be a rotation player, and we will get into the 4-3-3. But the way he's deployed now, wherever he's deployed, is just too much weight on a guy that's actually broken mentally. Because I don't believe a guy at that level who used to pull these off at Atalanta, for breakfast, suddenly can make a 5-yard pass, can shoot 5 meters from target, let alone on target. So yeah, the guy, we won't make any money on him, and definitely not cover his wages or the price we bought him for. But yeah, it's time to move on. I mean, McKennie, in the few opportunities he had this season, was way better.
McKennie
Just
finished the
clear
game
cut.
yesterday with actual attempts on goal. Cope Miners,
Yeah,
goose egg.
yeah.
Like, Justin, ready to cut the cord, even take a loss, like just...
We've done it with other players. Alberto Costa was here for a week and a half. We got rid of him. We got rid of Luis. We got rid of Nico Gonzalez. I don't see why we wouldn't get rid of Coop, who's potentially the worst starter we've been throwing out there lately. I mean,
And Douglas Luiz is currently injured. We need 15 appearances for 45 minutes. Otherwise, he's coming right back. And Nico is not a confirmed goodbye. But you'd think that things are going well so far with Atletico. I mean, had a great game against Real, and then was with some influencer there in the club, looking like he was having a good time. So life's popped off for him there at Atletico. Yeah, I don't know, man. This whole thing with the losses, and sometimes you got to admit you made a mistake and you just deal with it. But this is part of my thing with a little bit of leeway and a little bit of leash for Tudor. These are guys that are expected to bring something to Juventus. Cope Miners is one. Cambiasso is definitely one, and they are lost right now. He's trying to deal with that, and it is skinny. We just spoke about it. It's skinny at the positions. It's skinny for depth. These are things we know. This is something not just Tudor, any coach would have to put up with. I had less leash for Motta because he was an asshole to the players. He was a prick. And we were cutting loose players with making no logical reasoning to do so. And you could tell it was going to impact the team. That's where I have a problem. With Tudor, at least he's got these guys united, and at least there's fight. So now it's like a balancing act of, yeah, he's stubborn in some ways. Will he change? I actually do think he will change. Because if he wasn't, we had a presser 2 games ago. If he was completely set in stone on setup and everything, he would not have said, yes, we are training and trying out new formations. What's the point of even doing that if you have no intention somewhere where you feel comfortable to be like, okay, we can't ignore it anymore. We have to go with this. And now we've worked on it enough that we can move forward to it. I'm not set in stone that he will not change setups and that he's going to be completely locked in. Otherwise, he wouldn't have even brought that up.
I mean, what manager isn't stubborn? You can say that about anyone. Allegri was stubborn. Conte was stubborn. I feel like Tudor is less stubborn than those guys. And he did allude to trying new formations and stuff. And, somewhere you have to draw the line of when's the manager's responsibility to bring the best out of players and when is it the player's responsibility. I mean, if in the end, Coop Miners can't make a 5 meter pass
Yeah.
or can't control a ball. How is that on Tudor? I mean, he's a top 60 million valued player. That's what we paid for him. I don't expect Tudor to improve his short passing.
Locatelli, at one moment in this game, I could have probably picked up this desk and flipped it. I was just blown away. He wins a ball in the middle of the pitch. He turns. He immediately hits Cope Miners. Cope Miners has a dash available to him right into the area. He can swing this thing off-footed, right-footed across goal, and you've got two players back post for Juve. He picks the ball up and he runs directly in front of him rather than going into the area into three Villarreal players that easily take the ball from him. And I'm thinking, how on earth was that the thought process in that moment? These are the differences from either coming up with an opportunity to score or nothing. And sadly, all these situations have ended up with nothing when they're at his feet. He made zero impact on the game. Weston McKennie, whose main focus, main role, you could tell, was break things up, play that Thuram role, and offer whatever you can in the final third. He had way more influence in the final third than Cope Miners. Cope Miners is failing at every turn. You even stop and think sometimes, like, maybe you play him on the left side so he's always on his good foot so that maybe he can send balls in. But all you would do is end up stagnating Yildiz, which is besides the point. So, like, this guy literally has nowhere to go anymore. Like, he's out of options.
Yeah,
It's either you remember how to play football or we got a major problem. But we have a major problem.
He's really close to the Felipe Melo tier of Juve signings. Now, I would remind you that Felipe Melo won the midfielder of the season prior to Juve buying him, and then Fiorentina just renewed his contract, and like a few weeks later, Juve bought him for a then high price of like almost 30 million, 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And just the players that we saw for Fiorentina completely disappeared, and I feel like Coop Miners is heading the same way. Huge fee, midfielder of the season, and absolutely nothing to show for.
Yeah. Now, everybody, get the likes up. We're going to get to Jonathan David now. Jonathan David, are the alarm sirens going off now? Justin.
The igloo is melting for Jonathan David. At first, I liked his positioning. The goal that he hit, or not the goal, the shot he had off the crossbar, I thought was nice. But I mean, he got it on target, but you got to get it in. And then the one where he just forgot his feet, I saw a couple comments like, "Oh, if it was Dusan, would be roasting him and saying he sucks." Well, everyone's saying Jonathan David sucks, so it's kind of the same thing. He's got to score those. He's got to do something. He's got to contribute. He's not really showing up, and when he starts playing poorly. And if Coop's up there, like you guys said, the whole team just focuses on Yildiz on the left. And I actually didn't think Yildiz had a great game by his standards yesterday. So I feel like it's starting to become this domino effect where if Coop's in, then the team focuses on the other two guys up top. And then if one of the two of them isn't playing well, we're just going to be cement up there. And that's kind of how the first half went.
Yeah.
No, that's a question I'm struggling with. Was Juve better in the second half because Chico came in or because Coop came out?
Yes.
Both. Listen,
Both.
Omer, are the alarm sirens going off for Jonathan David? For you?
Absolutely not for me. Absolutely not. Yes, a horrible miss should score that. And I would say that to any striker in the world. There's not one striker that will miss that and they say, oh, well, he needs that. Every striker in the world needs to score that goal. But he didn't. I mean, we saw Karim Benzema, one of the best strikers of the last generation, miss sitters after sitters. And, it matters when it matters. And eventually yesterday it mattered. So I will give him flack and I will say he has to score that. But, I mean, it's 7 games in which he played, 4, 5 out of them. We signed him on a 5-year contract. I'm not throwing the towel this early. And he also kind of got into this weird situation where Vlahovic eventually stayed. And then the Colomuani deal fell through, so they quickly signed Openda, so they made some promises to him. And I don't know, he kind of fell into this weird situation, but he has a lot of time to recover and find his feet. We know that adjusting to Italy is a bit different, and he still finds it hard to find his footing in the league and find some spaces, but it will happen with time. I would not have benched him against Verona. I would have given him a run in, maybe a bit more, in-form guy who played a bit more would have scored that, and it didn't feel like it was sharp. The crossbar was bad luck. I mean, 1 minute down and it goes in the net. So I'm not throwing the towel on him by any means.
Yeah, Jonathan David, are the alarm sirens going off for me? No. I don't care. Put Openda in there yesterday. What would have changed? Put Dusan in there. What would have changed? Absolutely nothing. We played like garbage in the first half. Yildiz was a non-story in the first half. So was David. Why? We didn't have balance. David barely had touches on the ball. Like, there's nobody to play off of. I still stand firm. David, Chico, and Yildiz have been the best front three that we've seen. Chico comes on, starts running at defenders, and then as a striker, you can attack some spaces. You can get opportunities. Yeah, he missed that one, but the opportunities came. And then when you start keeping a team honest and you have threats from left and right, you get the later opportunities because they start to spread. They can't hone in on things. We win a ball back. McKennie sends it forward, and David, unfortunately, puts that one off the bar. Would have been a hell of a finish, but couldn't get it down quick enough. I'm not worried. Like, shit happens. We just dealt with 3 years of misses at that level by Vlahovic. We just dealt with that exact same thing over and over and over again.
If he does,
he wasn't written off after 5-7 games, especially only playing in 3 of them. Pump the brakes. Calm down, everybody. We have collective issues that are bigger. For me, David's issues aren't as magnified as Cope Miners or Cambiaso, where these guys are completely lost. David, I'm less worried about him than I am these other guys and them finding anything. I'll be quite honest. No, I'm not there yet. Not with David. We do have a surprise player under fire, taking heat. Who do you guys think that surprise player is? By the way, everybody, get the likes up. Who's the surprise player taking heat?
Surprised who?
Surprised me?
That's got to be Locatelli then.
Nope.
Yildiz.
Kenan Yildiz.
Oh, come on.
Kenan Yildiz, surprise player, taking some heat out of that game yesterday. And the comment was as follows. Yildiz has a long way to go. He is not ready, and we can't bank on him. How does that comment make you lads feel? Chat, how does that comment make you feel? We can't and shouldn't be banking on Yildiz yet. He's not ready. Who wants to kick us off?
Who said it? Where do they live?
Yeah. If they win the next giveaway, they don't get it.
Wait, was this a fan or a professional?
This was in our watch along.
Show your face.
No,
show it.
I mean, he's as ready as you want a 20-year-old to be, and then some. That's what I have to say about him. He will have bad games. I don't want him or expect him to carry this entire team forward, and he's been overplayed. Maybe not only due to counting on him, just based on injuries and guys available. And to be honest, there's no one in the team who actually plays his position. So he doesn't have a direct substitute. So yeah, he had an off one. The team didn't make it easy for him. Everything fell to him with Coop Miners on the other side. And the guy looks like he needs a rest. Man, I'm seriously afraid of an injury just coming from fatigue and playing too much. I know
I
it's still early in the season, but the guy needs a rest, man.
I gotta say, like, we're talking about no concerns for David. I have absolutely none with Yildiz. I'll be quite honest. Like, absolutely none. Justin, how's that comment make you feel personally, like when you hear that?
I I'm still angry. He's got 4 assists and 2 goals through 7 games. What do you want him to do? He did. I will agree. He did look tired yesterday. I feel like some of his shots he was getting off weren't they weren't on target. He's played better games. Like, okay, it happens. But like we said, he is 20 years old. Uh, what else do you want him to do? I mean, he's the engine that makes the team go most games.
It, for me, it just, I said this 2 weeks ago. The surprise is over. There's no element of surprise with Keenan Yildiz. Like, there is none. So teams are going to focus in on him. They're going to clamp down. He's getting like little to no support. He really is. And when we create issues on our own accord where we don't have balance from left to right side, that's also going to affect him. The fatigue thing and things like that, I'm not too concerned either. He's still young, and we should sort that out and manage that a lot better. But just in terms of the actual games being played, now is where you see exactly what this guy is made of. Now that element of surprise is gone. You are going to face double teams. You are going to face triple teams. But if we have these other guys faltering and failing to hurt teams when he's clamped down on, that clamp doesn't leave. He gets no relief. So Cambiaso putting up stinkers hurts Yildiz. Colt Miners, if you're going to play in that advanced role, that hurts Yildiz. It's like all these things affect him as well. It's a collective. It always has been, always will be. So for Yildiz, that's outrageous to me to even think that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But now we get into, so if we want this to, Justin, what are you doing?
Well, we forgot. He had it in the nuts at the beginning of the game. He might have lost a testicle. So we have to give him some grace.
Ice bag to the junk. Haven't seen that one on the pitch before. Like, legit ice pack to the junk is crazy. My guts hurt, though. My guts hurt. That was direct. Not a nick. Like, just bang. Bang.
Poor guy, man.
Bangers and mash, man. Straight.
It's so painful, man. It's so painful when you get that.
Now it's just mash. It's just
Beans
mash
and
down
Frank,
there now.
man. Dude, my guts immediately, when I watched that on the replay, it was just like, oh, you could feel like when, dude, felt bad for Keenan. Ice bag to the junk right there in the middle of the pitch was crazy. Imagine they gave him the spray. just fuck. That would kill. That would actually kill if they put any type of that spray on there. It'd be ridiculous. It's like when you use Icy Hot or Tiger Balm or anything like that, and you have like you have to go sometimes on your quads or your thigh, and you go a little too far up, and then ba-boom.
You gotta be careful.
Oh yeah, scream bloody murder. That's happened once. That was a shame. Oh, all right. Now back to what we're talking about. Okay, so Yildiz is obviously going to be a player that is affected. It's always a collective. The big question: where does Juve go from now? Let's say it's in your hands. What do you control? What do you change immediately? What do you want to see that you think will help this team improve almost immediately or as quick as possible? What do you think is the best route? Where does Juve go from here?
Well, it's easy. I believe 90% of the chat will say the same thing. Move to a 4-3-3. For I don't know, 2-3 main reasons. One, the midfield doesn't work if Thuram isn't there. And credit to McKennie, he tried really hard, but you can't have a formation that is built around the presence of one player. And it felt awful against other teams, weaker than Villarreal when Thuram is not there. So move to a three-man in the midfield. That will give you some time to integrate other players. I think Adzic can now play there. I think it will even give Koopminer some breathing room when he got the midfield covered with Locatelli and Thuram. And Miretti will slot right in there. Just the two-man pivot can't be so heavily reliant on one player. And the defense, I mean, we don't have enough quality defenders to play three men at the back. We have one quality defender. Kalulu is a better defender in a four-man back line. Gatti is a better defender in a four-man back line. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how to actually do it. Who should be the wing backs? That needs to be tested. But in looking at the team, the purchases we made, the guys we have, I mean, aside from Bremer, everyone is worse in three men at the back.
Yeah.
So that would be my immediate solution. Start working on that right now.
No 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1, 4-3-1-2, 4-4-2. Everybody's thinking you start off going four at the back, and I think that is something you have to address, you have to work on for a number of reasons. A four-man back will help us because, let's be honest, if Bremer, whenever he needs rest, whenever he can't go, you lose that guy that's legitimately in the heart of that back three, and nobody else is going to carry that. So going to a back four should actually help, and it should actually help guys like Gatti too, who, by the way, like we said in this game, will take you through a roller coaster of emotions. But 4-4-2, my issue with it is you still need three attackers. And if you're looking to make this a hybrid 4-4-2, kind of like what Villarreal, funny enough, did with Tejan Buchanan playing outside mid and then becoming like a third attacker, I don't like anything hybrid. I really don't. I really just don't like anything that's hybrid. I think you go straight up 4-3-2-1 or 4-3-3. You can alter from there and make little tweaks. Where I think some games you can get away with that three in the midfield becoming two-man pivot with one central, not from the side that then looks to advance and play. No, like a central advanced midfielder, a legit central advanced midfielder. Adzic could play that role. Miretti could play that role when he gets back. Of course, Jay Medical's got his grips on him. I don't want to see anything hybrid. So for me, though, four-man backline is a must. Break it up, and you have depth issues as it is anyways. That'll help with that as well. That's the way you got to go. You're going to need three midfielders in there, but I don't want to sacrifice three attackers to do it. I think that's counterproductive as well, because for what we just said about our players, balance from left to right, and still being able to offer support to Yildiz. For me, Christmas tree 4-3-2-1 all day, every day with this group of players. All day, every day.
Yeah, the attack can stay exactly as they are right now. Nothing needs to change about the attack. Three men, place them however you like, however each one of you likes. The change shouldn't come from there. I feel like Juve's defense are actually doing a pretty solid work this season compared to the previous 4 or 5 in terms of chance creation, and there's still chemistry that needs to be worked on and a lot of new faces and will take time, but I do like what I'm seeing from the attack so far this season. Out of all the departments, the attack is the one I'm least concerned about.
And I'll be honest, if we get the mix, as long as we play three in the middle and Luka's got to be in there, I'm actually okay with the middle. It's sorting out the back, what's best for them for balance. And I think the midfield and the back line together need to break things up in the transitions that we're suffering on. So you got to figure it out and get the balance right there. Justin, if we're talking about this change, are you good with going to a four-man back line? Would you deploy it as quick as the match against Milan coming up?
I don't know if I would throw it in against them, but under certain circumstances, I probably would be okay with a 4-3-3. My only question is the fullbacks there. I guess Kalulu would have to play right back. So then what? Gatti and Bremer hopefully in the middle. And who's the left back? Kelly? King Kelly?
No, not a left
Not
back.
Cambiaso. It's not Cambiaso. It can't be.
Right
in
now,
terms of performances,
maybe
right
not.
now it should be Kalulu as right back at least, Bremer, Kelly, and Cambiaso. That based on performances so far, there are no options. I mean, the other option is Kostic, so I'd still prefer Cambiaso. Mario Rui, Kalulu, you can interchange between them. If you start Mario Rui, I would play Kalulu as one of the central defenders.
Here's my thing. I would have no fear going with this against Milan. I think the longer you delay it, the worse it is for Juve. Because we don't have the balance as it is. So what the fuck are we really waiting for? Like, what are we waiting for? You had games you could have done it against Verona, against Atalanta. Prime time to do it. I was frustrated with him not actually doing that. So, and
Sorry,
Omar,
I said Mario
did you say
Rui.
Mario Rui
Yeah.
instead of Joao Mario?
Oh man,
Jesus.
Mario Rui, João Mario, João Pedro. I mean,
Now,
the
for
Portuguese
me, I
guy.
would have no problem, and I would deal with Cambiaso there to get McKennie as the third midfielder, because my midfield three would be hopefully Thuram's fit. I'd go Thuram, Loca, and McKennie. I'd go that 3-man midfield. At the back,
Absolutely.
take your pick between Kelly and Gatti next to Bremer as that center. There's question marks both ways there. But I can't help but remember how solid Bremer and Gatti were at the beginning of last season, where teams couldn't even get opportunities on us. And that was also with Cambiaso as the left back. I'm going that route. Kalulu can play right back. I'm thinking Thuram, Locatelli, McKennie in the midfield three. In the attack, if Shagrova can start, I'm okay with Yildiz not starting against Milan, and you go Zagrova and Chico Conceição, and up top, I'm still going to Jonathan David. But I would not have any fear deploying that against Milan. I don't know. I would do it. And Yildiz can come off the bench in that game.
Yeah. Has to be said, the schedule is awful for us. The run of games we got going right now with internationals is not making it any easier, at least for you.
So this game's on Sunday. So we got, 3 days rest. And then you got Sunday. And then they're international duty. And they take off, I'm pretty sure, on the Monday.
And then back to Como and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I mean, we already play. It's 7 games in, 8 games in. We'll all be playing Atalanta, Milan, and Inter.
Yeah, which is actually, that's good. Get it out of the way and to come out with where we're at. That's why even this Champions League thing, 2 points. I said this yesterday. People are like, you have to win this game against Villarreal. I said, well, you don't have to. It'd be fantastic to do it, of course, and your aim is to win it. And guess what? You're going to go into Madrid. Your aim is to play spoiler. You have to think. You have to have that mentality. You can't go in defeated. You got to go in there and try to get something out of it. You have to approach every match with the intentions of hurting the other team. Obviously, we know the quality that is surrendered there in that game and how difficult it's going to be, especially away from home. But it doesn't matter. You have to get into that mindset. The thing that's an issue with Juve for me right now, and why Tudor should face some criticism and heat, is because he's kind of been counterproductive in building momentum for this team. By going to certain things, going to certain players, things that we've seen haven't been working, and not adjusting that depth chart. In some ways, his hands have been tied based on some injuries, based on some players, etc. But for the grand scheme of things, he's created an issue up top out of Openda, Vlahovic, and David. He created that on his own. Because I had no problems David starting games and Vlahovic coming in with a chip on his shoulder. And now all of a sudden it's this big thing where, Vlahovic got to start whatever, or I play based on the opponent. None of that was making sense either. So he's got to sort it out. And Dells is right. Momentum is important. Of course it is. But right now, do we have negative momentum, or do we have no momentum at all? I wouldn't say it's no momentum at all. Would you consider us being a thorn in team size that we're playing? It's one of the things a lot of fans said they want to see from this team is just be a pain in the ass for the opposition. Justin, do you think we at least have that?
I feel like we're one step above neutral. We don't have a lot of momentum, but we have some. I do like that in general. I feel like games last year, we'd be like tired after like the 55th, 65th minute. Like they were just dead after that. And I don't really necessarily get that this year. Like, especially the fact we're scoring some of these goals like late in the games. We have like 5 goals after the 80th minute already this season. So I feel like the conditioning must be a little bit better, and we clearly don't give up. So that must piss teams off. And when guys like Chico are tackling people and chirping at him, and Vega had to pull him off to the side like, hey, little buddy, calm down. So, yeah, I do think we probably are annoying, where if teams leave it open, we will score. But I won't say we have a ton of momentum going forward, just a little bit.
Not momentum, but I think we're building towards that thorn in opposition side. I think we're building at least towards that. Tudor said we have no identity. Omer, what do you think about this whole discussion? Like, are we a thorn in team side at least? Are we building some type of identity?
Okay, in terms of momentum, I think we're the definition of not a bad momentum and not a good momentum. 4 draws, it's just, playing to the ability of the team that ahead of us and not really taking control even against weaker teams. Now, again, it's super early to call it anything. I don't know. There's no momentum. And what was the other point? Justin made some important point. I forgot. Sorry, it slipped my mind.
Justin doesn't rarely makes good points, so I think you might be mistaken. Just kidding.
The late goals?
The late goals.
Yeah.
The fight back.
Yeah, in terms of being a thorn in other teams, I think we did show other teams right now that you just stay on your toes the entire match against Juventus, because they're not giving up. Like Justin said, like last season felt like after the 60th minute, it's just Hail Mary, just hold on and try to close your goal, which we didn't actually manage to do. But I feel like a bit safer with Juve playing late in the game, and I think teams feel that.
More than momentum, it just feels like it's... how do you put it? It's like... it's hard to explain, but it's obviously like we don't necessarily have momentum, but like it's just, it doesn't feel completely broken. There are some feelings that are similar to previous seasons. It's like you could see it's like it's early, but we've seen this movie before. It feels like we're going down the same path, but there are certain differences from that, because previously, like I said, the team had quit in them. You could visibly see that body language. I see a different body language. It's hanging on. It's still early in the season, but will that fade? That's why we talked about this game yesterday, because we said this could potentially get ugly if Juve can't deal with the speed from those guys, if we make them look better. And I do think we made Villarreal look better than they actually are. I do believe we did that, at least in the first half. In the second half, we didn't. But to the play of the collective, Tudor, for me, one thing in this match, moments. Now, while his players fail to like win in certain moments, that equalizing goal is a prime example. You can go back, you could talk about missed opportunities. You could talk about, while David missed those opportunities, why not talk about the whole first half where we generated next to nothing? It doesn't matter. You've gotten to a position where you're up 2-1 in the 90th minute and you let a free header go in off a corner kick where you decide you're going to mark in a zone coverage scheme. Why? Man up. Win that battle. You're failing in moments. And I'll go even a step further to say Igor Tudor, when Villarreal was making a big push in this game for us, I was sitting there staring, watching, and watching sub after sub after sub after sub come in for Villarreal, and I was left wondering, is he going to combat that with fresh legs from Juve to fight that push that you knew was going to come from them to equalize the game? We have players that are suffering in key moments that are making the difference from us winning games or not. You also have a coach that is also, in my opinion, needs to ramp it up in game.
I'll tell you where my problem was. We didn't generate shit in the 5 minutes extra time that we got. And we managed that horribly. That's where I do blame Tudor. Because the game plan, since we got into the extra time, was just kick it upfield. And that's ridiculous. That was a perfect time to waste time on the ball with fouls, draw it back to the byline, get some bad throws. And instead, they just gave it to Perrin to kick it upfield, hoping Dusan will control it. And that's an immediate ball loss and another attack for Villarreal. They had 4 or 5 good attacks, and we had none. I mean, you got to know when to just lock it down and waste time and be dirty. That's part of the game. If the result was different, Villarreal would not have given us half a minute to get an attack. They would have laid on the ground, wasted time, and just passing out of the back. Just do that for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been reoccurring.
It's just, for me, it's not a time to just blow things up, and Tudor's taking heat. Yeah, he could take some heat, but the players really, really got to step up too. You can't have that many guys. We just talked about 5 guys that were my flops in this game. I'd expect a loss in a Champions League game. I don't care who you're playing. You got 5 guys like that. And people were, it's so crazy how wild it can get, because they're saying this is worse than Maccabi Haifa. No, it isn't. It's not even worse than the 3-0 we suffered to Villarreal in the second leg of the last time we faced them in Champions League in 21-22. It's not even as bad as that. Calm. It's okay. It's going to be okay. Close. Storm the barn. Okay, we're going to machine gun these because we were a lot of coverage on this one today. For the Tudor haters, we take a loss versus Milan and Como. Who or which elite top manager are you bringing in to fix Juve? Give me realistic names, if any. We're not going to get into the hypotheticals or coaches, etc., but all I'm going to say is this. I stand firm on everything that happened after Conte, who is now dead to me, by the way. After that, I was fine with Igor Tudor based on the other options. And I still stand firm that I am fine with him over Mourinho, Mancini. I am fine. Gasperini, Pioli. I am fine with the decision that they made on Tudor. I'm still fine with that. We are not completely lost, dead in the water. I'm not conceding that he is the guy long term, but at that point in time, I am still fine with that decision. Are you guys?
No, I feel exactly the same. Exactly the same. I wouldn't give up on Tudor even if we lose to Milan and Como.
Justin?
If we lose to both, the heat's gonna turn up on the stove a little bit, because I feel like we started off hot, had a few draws lately, need to start getting some victories. I won't say it's time to replace him, but if we lose to Como, it might be, I feel like the flags will be out more in abundance. But I do agree that once Conte said no thank you, it was right to stick with him. And we have seen general improvements from the club, where I feel like the players are actually training. They're not tired. They don't seem to hate the coach. Tudor at least seems to be bringing the right mentality, where they don't give up. They're kind of a pain in the ass. The Juve way, if you want to call it, whatever. So I'm fine with him, but let's not lose these next 2 games and even get to that point.
Yeah, no, and we're not gonna. Alex Juve. After a horrible first half, Chico and some attitude changed the game. Are there signs that this team can be better with the right 11? Is Tudor finally realizing who not to play? Thoughts? I mean, we kind of covered that one. That, yeah, we think he's starting to realize. But, I mean, obviously, it's going to come down to when it's time to pull the trigger. He's said a lot of things in the pressers. He's spoken to a formation change. It comes down to what you do in that moment. Is he going to bail on Cope Miners or force him to work from lower on the chart? Is there pressure coming from management on giving this guy minutes to maybe help his value? Because maybe they do want to not suffer a huge loss or blow. Like, I'm not buying into that one, but that theory is thrown out there by a lot of fans because they can't make sense as to why he's starting repeatedly. Hey, we just got to wait and see. But I would think that Tudor's going to make some changes here, and you're going to start to, my guess would be you're going to start to see him lock in on guys now moving forward. We'll see. Cugino Eddie. David's miss was worse than any of those bloopers you see in women's football or WNBA compilations. So the women's taking catching strays here. Eddie, leave the ladies alone, man. Oi, 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 oi. Eddie. Eddie.
You had him hooked with that photo. Now you drove him all away.
Eddie, you actually jinxed him because you called David for the goal in Champions League. My God. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Pierre, this thought won't leave me. Juve has become a business first. Elkin fixed the books but can't build a dynasty. Success for our leaders is the balance sheet, not the trophy cabinet. Let's hope. Man, I've said it all along. We need to get footballing minds in the main office. I wanted more than anything those rumors to be true, that one of Platini, one of Del Piero was coming to actually become the president. And there's still rumors lingering behind the scenes that they are looking and they are inquiring with these guys. But the first response from Platini was not positive. And that Del Piero, it's all up in the air. But I don't know. I've always questioned whether or not Del Piero will actually put himself in that position. He's got it made right now. It's cushy for him. I don't know, but I would love to, because I do think you need a footballing mind that has to be in that front office. Elkan, I am suspect.
Juve had to become business first, right? Like, we just fixed the books now, this summer. When everyone got
and they're
fired,
technically not fixed. They're technically not fixed
still some
because
work to do.
To 26-27 is where they're going to hit where they actually want it. But my fear, and I said this, if you guys remember a year ago, I said my fear is, when are those books actually going to be considered good for them? And when do we actually stop worrying about them and actually focus on the ambitions? It's a legit concern I had a year ago.
Well, it can't happen if you try to change your entire team every summer. Eventually, you got to stick with some of those decisions. And Juve had to become business first in the past few years because the financial situation was just awful. And if they kept doing what they did, I mean, we would have found ourselves lower in the table, I believe. And now is the time to make a change and start thinking differently, but it wasn't up until now.
We also have a bunch of guys on loan. So, like, Nico's on loan, Luis is on loan. Unless they're finalized, I kind of understand why we're not spending more money, but they're not final. If they're obligations, I can see that kind of point a little bit.
We used to play three-man mid with Pjanic, Matuidi, Khedira, and it worked. Cope Miners, Loka, Thuram is a flop. Who realistic names can give us the missing balance in the mid in the January market? I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. They have flopped because we've still lost the attacking proud. We've sacrificed an attacker to get Thuram, Loka, and Cope Miners in there. So it's still not the same thing for me. It's still not apples to apples because you're playing hybrid out of that. If you see it in a 4-3-3 and it still fails or doesn't cut it, then it's a different story. But like I said, even against Milan, I'd go McKennie, Loca, and Thuram, and I'd have no problem. Thuram needs freedom. Thuram needs freedom to actually impact the final third, and he's got to find consistently ways to be effective up there in the final third. But it's not apples to apples when you're playing 3-5-1-1. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Or 3-4-2-1 when Cope Miners has this role that he simply cannot wrap his head around. So not the same.
Yeah, I think our problem is mainly, those are my dogs. I think my main problem is that Thuram and Locatelli don't need any help in defense. They're great defensively. The problem is they can't commit to the attack because they're just two. And if one of them marauds forward and like Thuram sometimes does, it leaves the center very open. So if he does lose the ball, there's no coverage. I would like someone who's more attack oriented to join this midfield. In a 3-man midfield, I still want Locatelli and Thuram in there. My personal pick would probably be SMS because of the links, and it seems viable. His contract runs out at the end of the season, so maybe we can get him for a low price. My dream would be Brahim Diaz, if we can poach him away from Real Madrid. I think he's much better centrally. He was great at Milan playing centrally. So, yeah, I want a more attack-oriented midfielder to join those two.
I hate shopping in January. So the second part of that question, I'm not really hooked on the names out there for January. We got a comment here. Actually, it's gone now. It was there. It said, football mind this, football mind that. How can we trust them when they failed to pull in any reinforcements for the defense, and that's what we needed? Well, that's not the front office. That's Kamoli. And that's probably partly Tudor as well. And that plan might have been completely blown up with the fact that Cabal, who was maybe seen as to why we had low priority in the market for a defender, that kind of just took a blow yesterday. So, yeah, it is what it is. But the footballing mind at the very top has a lot to do with standards, has a lot to do with culture, has a lot to do with ambition. And the idea is to bring Juve to what we did care about, which is the ambition of competing, of winning on all fronts, and always doing your best. Right now, the scare, the fear is that it's all money. We had to be when the books hit so hard, but at what point do we see a shift? Have we seen a shift in the office yet? No, we've seen some changes in structure, but time will tell the story on that one. So we just have to wait. But I mean, might be a glaring miss to not do something to reinforce that back line. Whether or not the names were flooded there or not, I said, all along, I'm not buying it. I don't understand how you can't make a push for one of the top options out there. And there were a couple cheap options there. Should Juve look at free agency right now with Cabal going down for a month and a half? I don't think we're at that point just yet, but it might not be far off.
I'll tell you what. I think they realized going into the season, into the summer transfer market, like you had to fix the attack, you had to have more depth in midfield, you have to fix the wings and the back line. And I think they decided really early that we can't do all that in one summer and keep the books in check. So they kind of divided it, in my opinion. They made purchases so they won't have to buy anyone for the attack next season. And time will tell if this midfield works, so they can focus on maybe fullbacks and defenders next summer, because it just wasn't. They could have found some cheap solutions or whatever. Maybe they decided to take a bit more time and not be reactionary and buy whoever they want to buy and not out of necessity next summer.
Yeah. We're going to have to machine gun some of them. Sorry to everybody out there if we kind of miss some or skip through. I'm trying to filter things we've already discussed. Justin, in this current squad, who's your favorite and least favorite player?
Favorite is Yildiz. Least favorite is the Gumby asshole. He's got to go.
Omer.
Gumby has to go.
Least favorite is Coop Miners. Has to be. And my favorite is Thuram. I don't know why. I was just high on the guy before he came to Juve, and he hasn't disappointed. I really, really like him. Love Brenner and Yildiz too, but Thuram is my guy.
My least favorite is probably Cope Miners. Now he is really, really fallen off the scales. I was so excited for that transfer, and it has just been terrible. My favorite, probably Locatelli. My favorite.
Yeah.
Let's keep it rolling in here. Who started the fire in Continassa? Blaise Matuidi. Hey, Adam.
That's a straight red.
That's not bad. Hey, actually, we have a yellow. We let Advantage play on, but Justin got a yellow for Little Cheeks.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
For Little Cheeks, nickname there on Chico.
It's gonna. King Kelly's catching on. Little Cheeks is next. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Hashtag it.
I'm taking some heat for Locatelli, saying Locatelli, WTF for my pick. I'm going to say this. Maybe I feel that way because, number one, I've never understood the hate. Number two, he's one of very few players on this team for many, many years now that actually holds himself accountable and acknowledged dips in play and literally came out and said, I need to be better, rather than talking about systems, styles, formations, where many other players that get defended have. He doesn't play that shit. And he always goes about his business. He's not flashy. He doesn't need to be. He's the glue guy. And I actually have a big appreciation for him because he reminds me of the old school guys that used to leave it all out on the pitch, kill themselves. Guys like way back in the day when you had Tacchinardi, Delivio, Pesotto, Birindelli, etc. These guys that are not flashy, but just go out there and they go about their business quietly and play their role. Stop asking him to be somebody he is not. Appreciate him for what he is and what he does bring. And realize that he's not the shortcoming on these other guys. But,
by the way, I was suspended for the season when saying Kostic is actually good to have as a backup. So you're fine, Justin. Want to hear a crazy stat that I've seen? I haven't checked it, but I believe it's true. Luis Suarez for Barcelona missed more games through suspension than through injury.
Holy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. My God.
That's an insane stat.
Do you think Milan has the upper hand? Is Pulisic in your top three in Serie A? For me, yes, easy. Top three in Serie A?
This
top
season,
three, what?
absolutely.
Attackers? No.
Americans.
Top three attackers?
Top three. Absolutely. For me, absolutely. He's been great this season. Just literally a joy to watch.
I find him streaky, but like he's good. He's a good player. I wanted us to sign him when it was that cheap deal, and they end up. I was like, man, we should sign Pulisic. I think he'd do well in Serie A, and I was laughed at. And okay, fast forward, that would have been a cheap piece of business. I would have been all over. But I don't know if top three in attackers is. I mean, right now, sure, but I just don't know. Not top three in the league for attackers. Early predictions for that match. Too early. It's too early for me to drop predictions on that one. All I'm going to say is we won't lose.
Well, Juve have a great chance to jump Napoli, Milan, and Roma and make it to first place if they do win it. Of course, Napoli has to draw their game, so does Roma. But winning this game would put Juve in a great situation. They all have 13 points, 1 point above
Yeah.
Juve right now, I believe. So, yeah, a win there is important. It's a home
They're
game.
all at 12, I think.
Yeah.
So they're all at 12.
and
Juve's
11 or
at
something like
11
that.
points. It would be fantastic to take that one. And honestly, I don't feel like it's so crazy. And everyone's all of a sudden like, it's going to fluctuate. This Serie A, for me, I said, it was always going to be this grind, this fight that I think is going to be tight. People were saying Napoli's going to run away with it. I actually don't see that happening. I think it's going to be tight and it'll go down to the wire. We need Juve to stay close, to stay tight. And if we're doing that through a period of time right now, when we are drawing games, we're dropping some points here and there because some of these draws do feel like L's, that's probably better because it means we should be getting more and we're waiting for that kind of turning of the tide. Like I said, if it clicks and we lock in and we find something that starts cooking consistently, then we could do some damage. So if it's close at the start right now, we got to keep it close no matter what. But as time goes on, if Tudor can't find that breakthrough and if the players can't find some consistency or figure out their roles and make it their own, then yeah, it could slip. It could slip.
Yeah.
But right now,
a lot depends on Thuram and Bremer. If they are available for the match, then my prediction would probably change. So yeah, it's a bit too early.
Yeah, it's a bit early. I'll feel much better with those guys in the lineup, no doubt. And of course, we're going to keep you in the loop on the news, everything in the build up to that game. There is going to be a pregame show and there is going to be a watch along. Thank you for everybody for yesterday's watch along. Man, we really wanted that win. This one stings, but not back to the drawing board completely for Tudor. And we should look at that as a positive. It's not back to the drawing board completely. He just, I think now has gotten some answers on some players. And let's see if he actually makes the adjustments. We're all calling for back four. He's hinted that they've practiced. Why would you even bother if you're not thinking about it, right? He's thinking about it. Will he act? Will he do so against Napoli? Will he spend more time on the international break working on that setup? Maybe that's the play. We'll find out, and we'll find out together. For today, that wraps up the show. You guys, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Absolute pleasure, as always. Justin, Omer, great stuff. Justin, your Cambiasso kit is in the mail since he is your favorite player and you love the guy so much, okay? We'll make sure to get that your route. So, Justin, man, what's it going to take for Cambiasso to turn this? 5 games, 7 games, the rest of the season?
He's 2028. So I was last year I was down on Locatelli, and you and a couple other guys were like, "No, you're an idiot. Locatelli's a great player." I was out on him for most of the year, and then towards the end, I'm like, "All right, I'm starting to see it." Then he scored the PK, and now I'm on the Loca train. So he's got to basically match what Locatelli's done. He's got to shut up, keep his agent quiet, or get the fuck out.
Boom. And on that note, there you go. Keep your agent quiet. And to be fair, all the agents are an absolute joke. They're just pricks. All right. So don't let your agent flap his gums on your behalf, especially if you're struggling to back it up. All right. So Cambiasso, pick it up. Colt Miners, I don't even know what to tell you to do, man. Like, just fuck, man. An exorcism. I don't know. But take it easy, little cheeks. You guys, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll keep you in the loop on the news and the build up to Milan, which is a big one this weekend. As always, thank you, you guys. AJC Army, you're the best. Till next time, fino alla fine. Forza Juventus. No doom and gloom here. We have to do better. Players and coach. Let's see what we can cook up. And Max Allegri, I would love, despite his history with us and everything, I would love to give Max one of these. at the weekend.
Throw the jacket one more time. Throw the jacket in the stadium. That's what I hope will happen.
My God, he almost hit a cameraman kicking that ball on the side, that lunatic. Easy, Max.
Better shot.
Easy.
Better shot than Coop Miners.
Ayo. Ciao, ciao. Take care, everybody.